Preparing live stream. Okay, we are live, guys.
Hello, and welcome back to Mentor Mondays. I hope you all had a great weekend. The summer is winding down and school is gearing up. We've got 1 week until the first launch of Caden Academy. And today on our Mentor Monday, we are so lucky to have Gretel Tortolani, our resident CFO and co-founder at Caden Academy. And today she's going to be telling us about why it is important to get your finances organized as step 2 in building your business. So welcome, Gretel. We're so happy to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here. So thanks so much. This is very exciting, everything we have going on. We're
very happy to have you here. And thank you so much to my co-host, as always, Jamie Goswick Cooper. I never know which name is going to show up, but you and I are going to be in that boat between Reed and Rover and Goswick and Cooper for a while because we're the lucky ones that get to change our names, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a challenge every day. I mean, I went a long time with Goswick and now it's Cooper, but I like Cooper better, I think.
Right on. Well, it suits you. Well, ladies, we've got a lot to put into our show today because Gretel has actually prepared some slides for us. She's got a lot of information that she wants to share about the importance of your finances and getting those organized. So I'm just going to let you take it away, Gretel. I think you've got some things prepared you want to share with everyone.
Yeah. Okay. So hi, thanks for having me. And I wanted to congratulate you guys for taking the step of just kind of listening in and learning things that are going to help you with your business. A little bit about me, and I have some cheat sheets here, so I may be looking down a little bit. Okay. So forgive me for that. But I have been in the industry working as a CFO and as a controller, VP of Human Resources for the past 20 years. I've worked with manufacturing companies, wire and food, distribution, nonprofit, services, retail, cannabis. So I have a nice base with different industries and just, not just the services side, but then you also have the manufacturing side. So that really helps when you're working at a CFO and a controller level. I am fully bilingual, Spanish and English. I am from Costa Rica, so I do have that also. In the last probably like 15 years, I've always done some consulting on the side. And one of the jobs that I had over the last 20 years, I worked for, they're called Sage Software, and Sage obviously is known, but they had a product for small businesses that's called Simply Accounting. And Simply Accounting was the QuickBooks of Canada. So it's the #1 software in Canada for small businesses. And my task was to go ahead and try to compete with them here in the United States and Costa Rica. And obviously, for those of you that are familiar with QuickBooks, there was no way I was going to be able to compete with them. There's just no competing with QuickBooks. So I kind of took a grassroots, exactly, yes. So I took a grassroots effort and just kind of started working with actually small business development centers. And just what I did was I asked them to allow me to educate small business owners. So I went out and I traveled the country and Puerto Rico and had a great time and met all these small business owners and basically educated them. I wasn't even selling the product. What I would tell them was, look, you have a small business, you know what you're doing, but you need to make sure that you're doing your accounting correctly. You need to know where you are, you need to know what your numbers are. So that's kind of where I had this just aha moment of what I really enjoy doing in helping people and just kind of getting them to where they needed to be. So basically at that point, I kind of got out of it because Sage just went a different direction and just kind of continued in my whole, CFO professional career. And then about a year ago, I got laid off and I had been commuting for, 3 or 4 hours a day. And I was like, you know what, I just can't do this anymore. And I remember just how much I enjoyed educating, and working with small business owners. And I, learned about cannabis, and my dad is sick right now with cancer. So, he's being treated besides chemo with cannabis, and it's going well, fingers crossed. And so at that point I said, you know what, I am just going to go out there and I am going to start my own business where MJCFO2go comes into the picture. And it's pretty funny because as soon as I started doing this, just the doors started opening. Kira and Jamie came into my life, and I just met all these fabulous women that have just, helped my business grow and that have just educated me. And then came Caden Academy, which is just great and is, a resource that is really going to help small business owners and women out there, which is another one of what we want to do, is we want women to be, more than 50% of those C-level positions. We need to really help each other and empower each other. So that is when, this all started, and just the doors started opening, and the community in the cannabis industry is just so open arms. Everybody wants to help each other. So it has been a great experience and one that I am really enjoying. So that's kind of a little bit about myself, and I don't want to take the whole time talking about myself. So why don't we go ahead, Jamie, and move on, and we start talking about what it is that we're here for. So I can kind of start talking about, dive into finances, but the reality is that it all comes together. So when you decide to do your business, it's not just, I just can't come to you and say, okay, this is your accounting and this is how you're going to do it. Everything's intertwined. So because of taxes, because of, a whole bunch of other things. So my first thing that I would like to say is do things correctly. Don't try to beat around the bush. Don't try to not, get your licenses. Make sure that you're familiar with your city, your local, your state ordinances, everything that you need to do so that you stay out of trouble. We really are very, very focused on making sure that everything that you're doing is done in the correct manner. One of the things that you need to look at is your corporate structure. What are you going to be, an LLC? Are you going to be a C Corp, an S Corp? Are you going to stay as a sole proprietor? These are all things that you need to look at depending on what it is that you're going to be doing. Okay. And
Gretel, will you be discussing the difference between these types of corporate structures in your lessons in Caden Academy?
Oh, yes. Yeah. With Caden Academy, we go deep into this so you can decide and make an informed decision. And, as in everything, I always say, even when we're doing the Caden Academy lessons, one of the things that I like to tell people is surround yourself by people that know, so we will go over it and I will give you a detailed description of what it is and what we think will work for you based on what we're telling you. But then you're going to reach out, right? And you may send me an email and say, hey, based on what you said, this is what I want to do. What do you think? Or you may have your CPA or your lawyer. So you're always gonna have all the information that we're feeding you, which is just such great and just very, very detailed information. What you're going to grab there is to say, okay, now I know what I'm dealing with. Hey, so-and-so, this is what I want to do. What do you think? So always make sure to get a second opinion, obviously. Okay. So you also need to have a solid business plan. You need to sit down and say, okay, what is it that I'm doing? What product am I selling? Where am I going with this? Where do I want to be in 5 years? So all those questions that you need to ask and that you need to think about are going to go in your business plan. And part of the business plan is your budget, right? So your budget is basically going to tell you, okay, this is how much I need to, this is how much I'm going to sell. And these are what my costs are going to be. And then I have all my other expenses. And this is the bottom line, right? And your bottom line needs to be positive, because if it's negative, you're going to have a problem. And sometimes starting out, it may be negative, right? But your budget is going to tell you where you need to be in order to be a successful business. And once again, talk to somebody, right? Somebody that's done budgets before. We will go over a budget in Caden Academy. So all these things that I'm talking about, we go in depth to how to prepare it and how to do it. So hopefully you make that decision. It'll be a good decision if you decide to take the course. So now we're going to talk about setting up how you're going to keep your accounting and your finances organized. As I said before, it doesn't matter what you decide. And I was trying to sell a product and I didn't even sell the product, because my main focus is make sure you do it correctly and make sure you have something. I had these business owners that would walk in with a shoebox and they're like, oh, and I'm like, what's that? And they're like, well, it's all my backup for the year. And of course I'm like, oh my God, I'm cringing here, because it's like, how can you do that? How did you not know? So you need to decide, once again, based on your business, if it's a small services, if it's, a retail cannabis, dispensary, a grow, based on what you're going to be doing, you need to decide what kind of software you're going to be using. There's a MJCFO2go, and I'm sorry, there is, this is why I have notes. So you have the different software, which are MJ Freeway, you have BioTrack, you have QuickBooks. They're all software that will help you. So you need to decide which one it's going to be for you. And the one thing that I like to throw in people is, have fun. Life is too short. You did this and you're getting into the business to have a little bit of, autonomy to be able to do the things that you want to do. So remember to have fun. Okay. Life's too short.
I love that you put that at the end of keeping your accounting fine and finances organized, because that's probably one of the things that people dread the most about taking care of their business. But have fun.
Yep. Have fun.
When you stay organized, it's much easier to enjoy it because you're not constantly putting off something that you're going to end up dreading for 2 or 3 months out of the year.
And you know what, Kira, you bring up something really important, which is people say, oh, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. Well, guess what? When like somebody like me needs to come in and fix everything for the whole year, it's going to be way much more money than if you would have contacted me in the beginning and said, hey, I need to set something up. What do we do? It's so much cheaper, believe me. It's a headache to try to get everything organized. I've done it, believe me. I've done it, and it's crazy, and it's so much more expensive. So just do it right from the beginning. It's a much better decision, believe me. Jamie, you want to give me the next slide? Okay. So setting up your chart of accounts, and this is people freak out when they hear certain terms. Your chart of accounts are the accounts that make up your financial statements. So it's, what are your sales if you have, edibles and cannabis and, other things. Those are the things that you would go ahead and decide how you want to see your sales, your revenue, your cost of goods sold, your expenses, your telephone, salaries, everything that's going to be on your financial statements. That's what your chart of accounts is. But once again, depending on what your business is, your chart of accounts may be different. Okay, so that's what that is. And once again, Kira, because I know you're going to ask this, yes, I cover this in the Caden Academy lessons. I am so excited because they really are great. I've showed them to several small business owners and people that I've worked with, to get their feedback. And I'm like, hey, I worked on these lessons, tell me what you think. And they're like, oh my God, if I would have had this when I started, because it's just, they're like going, I had no idea what I was doing. And the other issue is you hire people that they think they know, but they don't. And as a business owner, you don't need to be an accountant or a CPA, but you need to have some knowledge, because you need to have that knowledge to say, okay, well, I kind of know this and this doesn't look right here. So what's going on? So, so a couple of them have said,
it's so much better than just sitting down and guessing, what does this go under? Well, I think, and then you end up at the end of the year and your accountant goes, why do you have 10 different things categorized for a consultant?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yep. Yes,
That's been me on multiple occasions. And I'll tell you, hours and hours of paying somebody to fix it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So then the other thing is you want to document everything. You want to keep all your receipts. You want to have all the information that documents everything that you're doing in your business, sales or expenses, right? Everything you want to document it, because God forbid you get audited, you're going to be screwed, right? And what happens is this cases, depending on your corporate structure, for example, if you're a sole proprietor and you get audited, what that does, it's going to open up for them to check everything. So not just what you're doing on the business side, but on your personal side too. And you do not want that, believe me. So make sure
would that be a case for setting up a stronger corporate structure than a sole proprietorship for a business?
That's one of the main reasons, Kira. That's a very good note, is that when you set up, a C Corp or an S Corp or an LLC, then you're not liable. You're not, personally liable. So that's one of the things that we go over on why it's important to maybe not be a sole proprietor. So that's one of the things.
The expense of setting up the corporation, again, is easier up front than having the IRS come in and audit your entire personal life as well.
Exactly, and especially because it is the cannabis industry and, it's still federally illegal. So, yeah, you want to make sure you're doing that. Okay, so, and along with that comes the keeping your business and your personal expenses separate. If you go out and you have dinner with your kids, that cannot go into the business. But if you go out and meet with Kira to talk about marketing, or with Jamie or with me, that's a business expense. And that's where it's important to go ahead and put the little note, met with Kira to go over, logistics, whatever, and keeping that separate. Once again, because if you don't keep it separate, for example, if you don't have a bank account for just the company, you get audited, they're going to want to see personal too, right? So keep it separate. And that even goes for if you have an LLC. Some people have an LLC and they just keep, one checking account and for everything. And it's like, no, you do not want to do that. Keep everything separate. Okay.
Can I just add one thing too that you told me that has kind of changed how I organize my business? Make copies of your receipts.
Yes. Scan
because
them.
they wear out after a couple of months. You can't read them anymore. So not only write on them, but also make copies of them. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, people really get rid of paper. We don't need paper. Everything's fine if you scan it. Scan it. And, you know, immediately you take a photo of it, you scan it, put it on your, you know, on whatever, your laptop, your computer system, and there it is. No worries about that, you know. So that's very important. So there's this one thing called 280E, and it's because of cannabis. And basically what 280E says is that as a cannabis business owner, you can't deduct all the normal expenses that other businesses can deduct. So the only thing you can deduct is cost of goods sold. So if, for example, you're a grower, you know, most of your expenses have to do with growing the cannabis. But for example, if you're a delivery person, right, you have a delivery service, the only thing you can deduct is what it costs you to buy the cannabis, and let's say the packaging to repackage it and the labor that went into repackaging. But other than that, that's pretty much all you're going to be able to deduct. So it's very important, going back to the whole, you know, budgeting and making sure that you're going to be making money, to go ahead and know that when you're going to go pay taxes, your taxes are going to be way higher, because you're not going to be in the 30% bracket. You're going to be in the 60-70% bracket. So that's very important. And one of the things that I've been very surprised about is the amount of business owners that don't even, you know, haven't even heard of 280E. You know, and one of my clients comes and he's like, you know, what's 280E? And I'm like, well, let me show you what 280E is. And once we got everything, you know, done for them and had everything put together, it was like, you know, this is how much you have to pay in taxes. So it can really be a killer. You know, it can really put your business over the edge, and you won't be able to do business. So very important.
Okay, so I have a question about 280E. So if I'm a company that grows, obviously I touch the plant. If I'm a company that bakes with cannabis or uses tinctures, this applies. But what if, does Caden Academy have this issue? As a marketing person who has service company and I don't touch the plant, I don't work with the plant in any way, I can still conduct business as usual and Yes, you can. Yeah. So it's only if you are dealing directly with the plant. Okay, that's good to know. Very good question. So yeah, ancillary business, no, they do not have that problem. So, okay. The other thing is to make sure when you're doing, you know, as you go along in your business and you're opening your business and you're doing it, you want to know how you're doing on a monthly basis, right? You don't want to know 3 months down the road that you're going to run out of cash, or, you know, or 6 months down the road that, oh my God, I've lost, you know, $60,000 now and I just can't keep on going. So I always recommend, and this comes with having somebody in your, you know, within your business helping you out and just making sure that you're doing things correctly. And that is that every month, you know, when the month ends, you're going to go ahead and everything's going to be put together, and your accountant, your controller, whoever it is that you have is going to come in and they're going to go ahead and close that month. You know, that month is closed now, and then you see, how did you do? You know, how much money did I make? What were my expenses? What were my cost of goods sold? Because then that's kind of giving you a picture of what's going on with your business, and it's going to allow you to make informed decisions of where to go, right? Do I need to reduce my expenses? Do I have to go out and buy, you know, find a better supplier because, you know, the person that's selling me X is just too high and I need to get a better price. So when you know what's happening as time is going on, it's really going to help you. Okay, so make sure that you are doing that the person that is doing your books is informing you on a monthly basis what's going on. Okay. And then once again, I threw in here, enjoy life, people. Again, life's too short. Have fun. You know, owning your own business. I'm not going to say it's not stressful, it's not hard work, because it is, but you need to enjoy life. Okay. You need to sit down and take the time to do, you know, the things that you like and spend time with just your loved ones. Okay. So enjoy what you're doing. And all of this will help you to enjoy life, because you don't have this kind of cloud of uncertainty hanging over you. You're not always worried about an audit. You're not, you know, in the dark about your finances. So
exactly, Kira.
All of this really helps to lead a better quality of life when you're on top of this stuff. Yep. When you know what's going on with your business up front. Yep. Exactly. Especially the financial piece of it. Yep. Where are you, Jamie? She flipped it. Oops. Back one. There you go. Is that it? Yep.
So what happens when, you guys have started your business and now it's, it's two years in and everything's going fine, a year in, whatever it may be. What are you going to do as a business owner as your business grows? You need to make sure that you continue to do everything you were doing before. Stay compliant. Things are going to get busier. If your business is growing, that's a great problem to have. So, but what can happen is because you're getting business, because of the fact that you're getting busier, there's more things going on, right? There's more paperwork, there's more transactions, you have more employees. So you may get to that point where you're like, oh, you're overwhelmed, or you think that you can't hire somebody, and then things start falling through the cracks, right? You stop doing the things that you should have been doing, the things that we taught you, and to stay on track, and it kind of just goes away. Don't do that. You are never too busy to do things correctly. Once again, what's going to happen is you're not going to do it, and then 6 months down the road, it's going to take you 2, 3, 4 times as long to do these things. Okay, so make sure that you continue to do all the things that you were supposed to be doing as a as a great business owner, as somebody that's organized and doing things correctly. Okay, and then as time's going on and things are better, sometimes it may get a little bit worse because you're expanding, because you needed to buy machinery, because whatever it may be. Make sure that you are staying on top of your numbers, of your financials, of your reports, that you're working with people that know, because then that way, when you're looking at your financials and you're looking at all these figures, you're going to be able to make informed decisions based on what the accounting is giving you, right? What the numbers are. So you can go ahead and say, ooh, I wanted to buy this new piece of equipment that I really don't need right now, but it would be nice to have. But based on my numbers, I'm not going to be able to afford that for another 6 months, So then that's when you say, yeah, I need it, but I really don't, and I'll be fine until then. So I'm going to put it off because my financials are telling me that if I do that, I'm going to be strapped for cash, So those are the things that the decisions that you make based on those numbers that you're looking at. So really, really important.
Can I just say that this is the way that it is possible to run your business this way. I have not met a lot of business owners that do run their business this way, especially small business, because we get in this mindset that we got to run and gun and we'll figure it out later. And we just have to make decisions in the heat of the moment right now. And we aren't really taught how you forecast. How do you look ahead to plan so that you don't end up in those situations? Because we're so here now with the pressure of the moment. Yes, we make decisions that are to fix right now as opposed to build for the long term. Exactly. And I really appreciate what you're saying, because it really is kind of the foundation of Caden, where we're teaching you compliance, but we're also teaching you how to run your business in a smart way so that you can make good decisions so your business will grow. And you're not caught in that hamster wheel where you're just like, okay, what do I have to do now? I got to make payroll. I got to do this.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's what happens is, I met and I continue to meet all these small business owners, and they're so smart and great at what they do, but what they do isn't being an accountant. It's not being a lawyer. It's not being a marketer. Their knowledge and their passion is just what they do, right? The core of their business. So that's why it's important to go ahead and have a basic understanding of these things so that you can either try to do it not on your own, but kind of do it, the things that you can do, and then bring people in that are going to help you. But you have the basic knowledge, enough understanding of these things to make those, to ask those questions and to make sure that the people that you're with are doing the right things, right? Very, very important to surround yourself by people that you trust and that know what they're doing. And you have your business, you have the people that are with you. So now you can focus. I know this one gal that I love, and one of her things that she always used to instill in me is, what is the best and most efficient use of your time, right? So the owner of the business, he shouldn't be, going out and running and doing FedEx, and picking up the phone and doing accounting. That's not the best use of his time. So always ask yourself that, and of all your employees, what is the best and most efficient use of your and their time? Okay, and that's very, very important in growing and making sure that you're running your business successfully. Okay. And now, like I said, you know what you're doing. Your business is growing. bring on people that are going to help you, you know, that know more than you do. Surround yourself by smart people that know what they're doing in their field. It's okay. You know, there are a lot of people that want to help you and that are going to help you grow. So don't sit there and think that you can do it all. You know, I worked with this one gentleman who I admire so much because he grew from nothing, you know, and everything he did was on his own. But it was funny because it got to that point where I was like, you need to let go. You cannot be the everything in your business. You know, your business started in a garage and that was fine. But now you have 300 employees. You know, you can't continue to think that you can do everything, because then once again, all you're doing is a half-assed job. You know, you're not doing anything great because of the fact that you think that you can do everything. So it's really important to surround yourself and hire people that are professionals in their fields.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Gretel. That was amazing.
Welcome.
I actually learned something again every time that I talk to you.
Every time, huh?
I'm like, it's just all of these little adjustments in how I see my finances and how I approach organizing them. And you can't hear this stuff enough, because over time we get into such bad habits that we have to hear this over and over again, because it is the legal and the financial are the foundation of your business, and they are the ones that will put you most in jeopardy if you do not have them together. So thank you so much.
They are. Mm-hmm.
Jamie, do we have questions?
Right now, no questions, but audience, you guys, we have several people right now watching this broadcast. So if you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the chat section. Just post your questions and we'll get them answered. Of course, there is Gretel's information on the screen. If you don't want to post your questions here, you could always email her. And of course,
please do. Yes, I mean, you know, like I said, you know, with Kira and Jamie, all the group here at Caden Academy, one of our missions is to help people, you know, and to help women. We really want to see women grow. So please, if you have a question, you know, and you don't have an accountant, you don't have, you know, just call me, you know, I don't have my phone number there. Send me an email. I'll give you my number, you know, I'll pick up the phone and call you. Send me an email, you know, what it is that you're looking at, what do you need, what you're having issues with. I'm more than happy to help you out. Okay, that's what we're here for. So please.
And let me tell you, ladies, take advantage of this. Because at some point, we're going to be so overwhelmed and so flooded with questions and need for help that we're going to have to pick one or two. Right now, we're at the beginning, and you have the opportunity to have her full attention. So if you have questions, please, and here's something else I want to be very clear about. There are no stupid questions, okay? Yep. We are professionals. We've been doing this, but I'm not an accountant. I have lots of stupid questions for Gretel, but she is happy to answer them, because this is our mission here. We want to help you be better at what you do, and we can help you through what we do. So ask questions, get the help that you need. And I just, you know, this is something we've talked about before. And I'm part of a real estate investment group. And one of the things that we talk about is there's a pyramid, and at the bottom is the technician. And that's the people that get the things done. And when we start our businesses, a lot of times we have to be that technician. But then the next step up is the manager, the person who manages those people. That is the next role. But most of us really need to stay at the top of that pyramid as entrepreneurs. And that means we have to hire the right people. But in order to do that, we have to be educated. So we have to know who we're looking for. How do we judge if they're the right person? How do we know that we're taking the right steps and that we're managing those people properly? So we want to move you out of the technician mindset where you have to do everything yourself, and we want to bump you back up into that place where you are, which is the entrepreneur mindset. And that's what this is all about here. But you've got to know what you've got to know in order to get there.
Exactly. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Mm-hmm. And another place you can post your questions would be in the Women Entrepreneurs in Cannabis Facebook page. It's a wonderful group that we have created, and that's what it's for. And in fact, not only can you ask Gretel or Kira some questions, or myself, you can have a conversation with more than 700 women who are a part of this industry.
Yeah, and they're all willing to help.
They are all willing to help. There are so many people who are connecting on that site. People are looking for conference panelists. People are looking for subjects for their articles, Shark Tank type events.
Yep.
It's amazing that every day I see people making connections for funding. There are women in this group who want to give you money. So if you are looking for someone to give you money, there are at least 3 women in that group. That's what they do. And they have made it very clear they are approachable. So if you are not a part of Women Entrepreneurs in Cannabis, you need to go sign up for that group right now. I'm just blown away by what I see women being willing to do with each other. And we've had it for almost a month now. And I haven't had one single post that I've had to monitor. I haven't had to reject anybody for any reason. No trolling whatsoever has occurred on this site. It is unbelievable. I've never really seen anything like it, to be honest. So it's a phenomenal group of women really wanting to help.
Yeah. You know what? And you just said something that reminded me. As an entrepreneur, somebody who's getting into the business, remember that it's okay to ask. When somebody says, hey, I'm here, like I'm saying, hey, I'm here to help you. If I say that, is because I really mean it. I'm not going to tell you I'm here to help you if I don't mean that, and I'm not going to take the time to help you out and answer your questions. And always reach out, because, my dad, God bless him, the one thing that he's always told me is, come and ask me. The worst that can happen is that I'm going to say no, right? And that's so true. So who cares if they say no? So who cares if you get rejected? You just reach out and make that connection. And usually, most times, it's not a no. It's usually a yes, or you know what, I can't help you right now, but let me, gear you towards who can help you. This person can help you more than I can. So go ahead and reach out to them. I'll go ahead and connect you to them. So don't be afraid to ask, really. It's going to help you so much. More yeses than nos.
Yeah. Do you know that Airbnb received over 100 no's when they were looking for their initial funding?
There you go.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It takes, and I think Steve Jobs had a similar story. I mean, there are a lot of different entrepreneurs that are highly successful that have had the same experience.
That got rejected so many times you would not believe. Yes. No, it's true.
I can take no for an answer. In fact, working in this business, some people are actually really scared to say no. In fact, they just kind of fly off the radar, when they don't want to say no. And
they ghost you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been ghosted more in business than I have in relationships.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't appear that we have any questions right now. But again, if you have questions, email Gretel, get in the group. Post on this video, share this with your friends. We are trying to build this, and we want to get as many women involved in this industry as possible. So please, guys, take a moment. If you like what we're doing, share us, tell people about us. We would really appreciate that.
Yes. We are hashtag better together.
Yes.
Better together. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, ladies. Well, I guess that's it. We don't have any questions, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us today, Gretel, and sharing this.
Thank you. Thank everybody. Yep. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day. Rest of the week.
Thank you.
Amy. I will see you on Wednesday for our webinar Wednesday.
Yes.
And we will see all of you in Women Entrepreneurs in Cannabis all week. Until next Monday, have a great week, ladies. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.